figured out how I would like to die. I would like to succumb to the movie disease.
The movie disease?
This is when an irascible old coot, which is going to be me in 20 to 30 years, let's face it, contracts a fatal disease. He doesn't know how much time he has left, but it's always more time than those know-it-all doctors think there is. He's fairly able-bodied, and the movie disease doesn't affect this too much. He's probably got to take a bunch of pills, which he complains about.
You have a cough?
Sure.
The ominous cough. You need that, yes.
Yeah. And this old codger spends his remaining months acting unpredictably, speaking out at gatherings, telling off jerks and morons, trying new things, and most importantly, befriending a young boy or teen who's a neighborhood outcast, teaching him lessons, showing him what life is really all about.
You just described the plot of Breaking Bad. He gets the disease, he starts speaking his mind, he starts doing things he always wanted to do. He befriends a teen or outcast. They learn lessons about chemistry.
I was thinking more along the lines of the bucket list.
Oh, okay.
I've got a bunch of movies that I've never seen before. You don't know what they are. Every episode I'm going to spring one on you. It might be good, it might be bad. We'll watch it and talk about it. Welcome to the basement. Ho ho ho, it's the holiday season here in the basement.
How?
Miracle on 34th Street. Black Christmas. Beethoven's Christmas Adventure. Rare exports. Yes, when it comes to the holiday season, we certainly seem to alternate between the heartwarming and the bone-chilling here in the basement. And whatever the hell the 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T was. Today, I'm afraid your day may not be so merry and bright. Up on the housetop, click, click, click. You'd better hope that those are the boots of jolly old St. Nick and not the menacing footfalls of Krampus.
Oh, nice!
Released in 2015, Krampus is directed by Michael Dougherty and stars Adam Scott, Toni Collette, and MJ Anthony. This film was originally scheduled to be released on November 25th, but it was pushed back to December 4th to coincide with Krampusnacht, a traditional Austrian festival held on December 5th that celebrates the Krampus coming to punish naughty children.
Slap, slap.
You could be the Krampus in your own home.
Who says I ain't? I'm not.
This movie also features a little something that every film buff knows about. The Wilhelm scream. If you don't know what that is, Google it. It's a lot of fun. Let's see if our ears can spot it. This picture is rated PG-13, so it's probably not going to scare you too much.
Not me.
In fact, it is widely believed that the PG-13 rating is the only way that Legendary Pictures would greenlight such a dark Christmas movie in the first place. Your gift tonight is the environmentally responsible way to celebrate the holiday.
It's soda cans that have been turned into a nativity scene. Over here, this is a little baby Jesus.
Made out of soda cans.
Made out of soda cans.
Or pop cans, depending on what region of the country you live in.
This is going to be a very charming addition to the house.
Well, it's time for us to take a sleigh ride over to the old leather couch, where we're going to find out if we're on the naughty or the nice list. I'm guessing the naughty list, since we're watching Krampus.
I think we should call him Jerry. What? Jerry Christ.
As Krampus begins, we find that the Christmas season is upon us, with all of its attendant chaos and commercialism.
And the thing that will make 'em ring.
Someone should have a war on Christmas to stop this madness.
You know, there's a creature even more scary than Krampus. Because Krampus only comes once a year. But there's a Krampus that comes every month. The menstrual Krampus.
Matt Sloan said that. Please leave your comments for him.
Max just got in a fight at the Christmas pageant.
Evidently, it's a bad day for playing a reindeer. His parents, Tom and Sarah, they scrape him up off the floor and they bring him home.
I know it'll cheer you up, son. A rousing game of the cones of Dunshire.
Grandma Oli's there.
Making cookies, and she only speaks German.
Have you finished writing your letter?
I sure have, and here it is.
An ihn zu glauben heißt, an den wahren Geist von Weihnachten zu glauben.
Grandma, you talk funny, but for some reason I understand it. I'm like Han Solo in Star Wars. You're my Chewbacca. Nana Baka, we call her.
I like snowflakes, but I like my plan a lot better.
Yeah, how much pot do you have to smoke to be like, you know what, I'm gonna get a Christmas bong too?
I got some awesome peppermint kush. It's festively dank. But the holiday unpleasantness isn't over yet. Sarah's sister Linda and her husband Howard are coming to visit with their family. There's little Howie Jr., the sisters, Stevie and Jordan.
Jordan, Stevie, why don't you tell your Aunt Sarah about your Presidential Fitness Award, huh?
I got one of those.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
How'd that work out for you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got the Presidential Academic Fitness Award.
Oh, okay.
Video games? Phone? Dialysis?
Sick renal failure burn. There's a little baby, and there's a little dog.
They even brought along Aunt Dorothy, and she's the worst.
This family is awful in every conceivable way.
The baby seems cool.
Everyone hates the fancy food. Everyone hates the nice decorations. Stevie and Jordan, the two little brats, have somehow gotten a hold of Max's Santa letter. We're going to read this letter in front of everyone. Max's letter implores Santa to make Christmas the way it used to.
I wish my mom and dad could fall in love again.
There's evidently not any ability to stop children from doing anything in the world of this movie.
Things at the dinner table get awkward, and they quickly devolve into chaos.
I hate Christmas! I hate all of you!
I'm gonna go read out of my spell book. Oh, a letter from a little boy. Oh, it's torn. Next.
If he can't get this right, he'll never be able to do a cover letter, an application for a job. Krampus!
Max
Disavows Santa Claus himself. Screw you, Santa. I don't believe in you anymore. Careful what you say there, Max, because Santa has a friend and he's sending him your way.
Storm clouds gather over the neighborhood. The family wakes up to find that the power is out.
They're socked in.
If I knew how we were going to survive Christmas with 12 people stuck in a house with no hot water, no heat, and no electricity.
Or food.
I know how you could survive, but not with 12 people. Some packages arrive. There's also some other packages outside from someone.
Beth has been texting her boyfriend all morning, and she hasn't heard back from him. She's going to go out into the snow to see if he's okay.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I could see if anyone else has power on the way.
Maybe losing my virginity will make the power come back on. Think about it, guys. Beth goes out into the sub-zero blizzard. Nice tracking shot. Very Satan Tango.
Beth realizes that there's something weird going on, particularly because of the big, old, horny guy who's watching her from a roof. And he's leaping from rooftop to rooftop. I gotta hide somewhere. She sees the delivery truck. The delivery truck guy is frozen in fear, or frozen in freezing. It's hard to say. She hides underneath the truck.
She thinks that it goes away. There's a weird music box there. Oh no, Beth is in trouble.
Night is falling. Beth hasn't come home.
Tom and Howard decide to go out in Howard's Hummer to find out what's going on with the neighborhood and try and find Beth. Howard pulls out some heavier artillery.
Turns out Howie's a bit of a gun nut.
And they start exploring. Run, run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the... They see this snowplow that looks like it's been attacked. And speaking of attacks, Howard gets attacked. Something bites him in the leg and tries to drag him under the snow. But luckily Tom is there, and he shoots whatever it is that was after Howard. Howard's Hummer is destroyed. They go back to the house. Something crazy's going on out there. Grandma says,
in her funny language,
you better keep that fire going. They board up all the doors and windows of the house. Howard says, I'll stay up and keep first watch. Of course, he falls asleep. And that fire goes out.
Something comes sliding down the chimney. Howie Jr. smells something.
That looks like a sweet treat for me and my fat face. K is for Krampus. That's good enough for me. Cookie comes to life. They try and rescue him, but it doesn't work. Howie Jr. is gone.
I must tell you something.
I'll tell you in your language. When I was a child during the war, things got bad. Screw you, Santa.
Kris Kringle, more like Chris Kindling.
Chris Crispy. Crispy Kringle.
It was Krampus.
And Krampus showed up with all of his buddies and my entire town was killed.
Krampus comes and punishes you when you lose hope. Or something.
Krampus left me alive.
See this Christmas ornament? Krampus gave it to me.
As a reminder of what happens when hope is lost and the Christmas spirit dies.
I don't know, I think this story checks out. Tom snaps into action. Get the family to that snowplow. Take the snowplow someplace where they can either hole up or get help.
You're not thinking of going for the plow by yourself, are you?
Shepherd's got to protect his flock.
By the way, we're not a family, we're a cult. I don't know if you knew that, Howard. None of us are related. Stevie and Jordan go upstairs to use the upstairs bathroom because Aunt Dorothy made a mess of the downstairs bathroom. The parents go up to see what happened to Stevie and Jordan. One of these days we should get rid of all this monster-concealing junk. There's a big jack-in-the-box that's eating the kids.
Turns out that there's some special presents sent by Krampus. Ah, Wet Willie! Watch out for those guys.
Linda rescues her daughter Stevie, but the monsters take away Jordan.
It's time for the elves to show up.
And the house is assaulted.
You know, the neighborhood carolers have really gotten out of hand this year. They take the aunt, they take the baby.
At the last minute, the elves hear something and they all leave. Let's get to that snowplow.
It's him.
Up on the housetop, such a fuss. Down through the chimney comes Krampus. Next comes a stocking for little Nell. Oh dear Krampus, give her hell. Give her a dolly that laughs and flies. One that swoops down and claws your eyes. Grandma says, you all go, I will stay behind.
See you in hell.
Coming down the chimney with his menacing bulk. Looks like somebody had too many cookies this year. He doesn't seem to be too impressed.
Get in the bag, lady. Is this the end of Grandma? Yes. Almost to the snowplow. They're going to make it.
I only have 70 bullets left, kids. Only 80 bullets left. How am I gaining bullets? Tom goes down. Linda goes down. Mom goes down.
We're down to Max and Stevie. This will be much cuter when he's an old man. He tells it in cartoon form.
Try to start the engine. Doesn't work. Stevie gets taken by the creatures.
Stevie!
Look in the mirror, Stevie. My most obscure reference on the show.
And Max is given
a special Krampus commemorative ornament, just like the one Grandma got back when she ruined her Christmas.
All of the monsters are off having a wild party. They're really happy because of all the mayhem they've caused. Do you have a permit? I take it all back. I love Santa again.
Give me back my family!
Except for Aunt Dorothy.
You can have her.
Please. I know you can fix this.
Look into your heart. Look into your heart. I'm praying to you.
I'm praying to you, Krampus. I'm praying to you.
Poke. Krampus seems to have a change of heart, but we all know that he's evil at heart. And so he takes Max and throws him into the burning pit of hell. Pat Benatar was right. Hell is for children. That's it, right? No.
Is he going to wake up? Do not wake up. Do not wake up, Max.
Because the next morning, Max wakes up in his bed. And the family's opening presents. And what do you know? It was all a dream.
Hey, kiddo, we thought the sugar plum fairies may have gotten you.
No, the sugar plum fairies didn't get me. They came and hit the street. They were looking for soul food and a place to eat.
And then Max opens up a little present. And it's the Krampus ball. And everyone gets a look of recognition on their face. Wait a minute, this isn't real. So this is all a death dream? Is that what the scene is? That other thing was real. This is the dream. And they're now trapped in their house with their family for all eternity. Off in a little snow globe in Krampus's secret toy shop somewhere south of the North Pole.
Did Krampus get you what you wanted for Christmas this year?
Krampus taught me some valuable lessons.
I'm glad that this was rated PG-13.
Yes.
Because it did not need to be rated R.
Well, it needed to know what it wanted to be.
What do you mean by that?
This isn't the movie that it could have been. And I think that if it was R, it could have become that movie.
What movie is it supposed to be and what movie is it?
Well, horror comedy is very, very tricky to do.
I think it was more horror than comedy.
Yes.
I think it was basically straight up horror with a little bit of comedy.
I know, but the tone at the beginning is setting it up as a comedy, and then there's comic bits, interludes in between.
Oh, come on.
Having Adam Scott and David Koechner in something, they're primarily comic actors, and so it's coming across as though it's going to be a very dark Christmas comedy like Bad Santa or something like that.
I don't think this movie has an identity crisis at all. I mean, I think it really works as what it is. I think if it was rated R, it would be too dark, and I think this movie is actually a really good movie for kids. Like, it's fun. It's a dark fairy tale.
Being scary is one thing, being disturbing is another.
And I think it rides a line on both of those.
And I think it does not ride the line. I think it just doesn't... We don't have to agree on this, Matt.
No, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
It does not work as a horror comedy. And you're saying it wasn't meant to be a comedy, and I'm like, well, why was it comedic?
Moments that are funny does not equal horror comedy. I think it's primarily a horror movie.
Well, I don't. You have these crazy elves and toys coming at everyone, but then you have like these super dramatic moments. You hired too good of an actress to play this role because she's playing the true emotion of it.
I don't understand what's bad about that.
And so I can't have the, oh, it's just a horror movie, or oh, it's just a comedy.
I think the thing I liked about it best is that it sets up all of these movie tropes, and then they just get blown away. The wise grandma, she's going to somehow save the day without a bunch of guns. Doesn't happen. The wimpy dad is going to step up and save the family. Doesn't happen. The innocence and penitence of a child will melt the Grinch's heart. Doesn't happen.
And guns only slow down the monster.
And then, of course, the ultimate trope at the end, it was all a dream. That turns out not to be the case either. So I like the fact that the movie dangles these little kind of hackneyed things in front of you and then throws them out the window.
And it did have a legitimately creepy ending with a dangling question mark of what is their life now.
Yeah, the very subtle horror of the ending works really well. However, the central conceit of the movie does not work at all. Why is Krampus summoned? Because a boy was disappointed? Yeah.
It almost seems, though, as though the entire world summons Krampus. When did it happen the last time that we know of? During World War II.
Okay.
And then with this, we see just the chaotic melees happening down at the department store.
Sure.
Max, who seems like a nice boy, gets into 2 fistfights in the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
One half the family is monstrous, and the other half the family is subtly breaking apart. No one is happy. There is no joy. This modern malaise and just the strife that's happening in America that gets Krampus's attention, and then he waits for the boy to say, "Screw you, Santa," and then he shows up.
Because that's the last straw.
Yes.
Okay, I could see that. There were really a lot of nice touches throughout, bits of nice cinematography. I liked it when the phone goes dead right before the mayhem starts. Mm-hmm. I don't like David Koechner.
At all?
No. He always plays the same character, and I don't like that character. It's not his fault, I just feel like I'm kind of spending time with a jerk, and I don't want to. I also don't like Rob Riggle. Same thing. He always plays this kind of roided up meathead. It's very unpleasant.
So Koechner, stretch yourself. We want to see it.
I thought the practical effects in this were really neat. I was really glad to see live people running around, wearing masks. Mm-hmm. And even the CGI didn't really look all that CGI.
Just having like the weird puppet things attacking people, and it's like, yeah, that works.
It's fun, and it really lends to a lot of twisted violence that I think elevates the scariness of the movie.
I really like it when there's justifiable cartoons in the midst of movies. It doesn't happen all that often. It generally happens for flashbacks. This movie isn't going to shell out for an entire World War II set.
Sure.
So yeah, that was exciting.
I like the fact that they're all doomed. There's no coming back from this.
Even the baby.
Yeah. We can wrap it up like a big Christmas present from our buddy Krampus, who we just spent a little bit of time with.
Charmer that he is.
And now we have a gift for you. Seen It.
Seen it.
Well, Christmas time is about a lot of things, but one of the things it's about is stuff. And so we're going to revisit Seen It, Own It. We're going to look at DVDs that are in my personal collection.
Jacob Chris writes, Rafifi, seen it?
We seen it. And I own it.
I have merely seen it.
Rafifi is a heist movie. It features an old has-been guy who goes for one last big score. Rafifi is a weird word in a song. It means rough and tumble.
Yes. This movie is famous for a half-hour sequence in the movie where there is no dialogue. This is the heist. But I didn't know going in that that wasn't the climax of the movie. I didn't know it was going to be the middle third. And so they were done with the heist, and I'm like, oh, wait, there's more? And so it just kind of... I deflated just a little bit while watching it.
Yeah, the heist is great, but for me, the last scene, the scene in the car, I just was blown away by it. I think that's the scene that made me go out and buy it.
Really?
Yeah. Paul Traynor writes, I finally saw Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It's pretty damn good. Yes, it is, which is why it's here in my hot little hands.
Seen it. In the theater.
Any boys Smithies? Seen it. I also saw it in the theater.
Not the same theater. I saw it in Minneapolis.
How do you know? Theaters are dark places.
You expect something the first time through the movie, and every time afterwards, it gets a little bit better.
There's lots of great cameos and character actors that come through. I always like to see Stephen Root doing anything.
Oh, yeah.
George Clooney, he's the man. He's really sort of a modern-day Cary Grant, because he can do drama and he can do comedy, and he can do them both equally well.
Yeah.
And he can do them both better than most other people.
And he just gets that nice little old-timey clip to his voice.
Sure, I'm a Dapper Dan man.
My favorite moment in the movie is when they're talking about when one of them is going to get out of jail, and they have to be in jail for like 45 years. Like, that's 1983.
Soundtrack is pretty great too.
Yeah, this is okay, I guess. It's a favorite lullaby in the house. The go sleep, little babe, go to sleep. Yeah, it's better than Oh Death.
Yeah,
sung by the Klansmen.
All right, little Lorenzo, it's time for bed. Oh, death.
James Hayes writes, Streetcar. Seen it.
Seen it!
And you own it.
I do. Look at this. It's one of these. Remember these?
Yeah, that's an old DVD.
Little paper cover.
Where do you start with this movie?
Well, there's the eternal question of, is the movie enough of a movie, or is it just a play that's a movie? What do you think?
I think it's a movie that's enough of a movie. If you have good enough actors, which this movie definitely does, you don't feel like you're confined to a courtyard and a couple of apartments. You really feel as though it's the whole world you're living in.
RKG Austin writes, Blow Up is the movie that got me into photography. Bzzzt, seen it.
Seen it?
I know you're not a fan of this movie.
No, not really.
What don't you like about it?
I don't like the ending.
Yeah.
The whole pantomime thing.
I always like to see an actor who is playing a role where the character has a particular skill. And they're able to just completely sell the fact that they are experts at that skill. Warren Beatty does it in Shampoo, and David Hemmings does it in this movie. He is a photographer. You don't have to go anywhere to believe that because he just embodies it. Maybe David Hemmings is a photographer in real life. I don't know.
Another great thing about this movie is that it captures Yardbird's performance on film.
And once again, folks, it's one of these.
If you have a suggestion for Seen It, leave it in the comments.
Go to welcometothebasementshow.com and click on that donation button. Give us a few dollars to support our show. You'll be glad you did.
Who would ever do such a thing, Matt?
Catherine, who says, I've watched your show ever since my little sister Laura introduced me to the Blame Society channel years ago. Her 21st birthday is coming up on the 25th, and it would be awesome if you wished her a happy birthday, perhaps with a thumb kiss. Well, it's a belated birthday, but I hope you had a happy one nonetheless. You can find out who the rest of our donors are and see the contents of our mailbag on our unboxing show that's coming out this coming Friday. This coming Friday, I am Ricardo Montalban. No, I'm not.
No, you're not Ricardo Montalban.
Our next episode of the show is our final episode of the year. We look back at the year, we induct new Hall of Fame members, and Craig's going to bring a short film for us to watch on the old leather couch. That video is supposed to come out on December 22nd, but we're going to take a little break for the holidays. You know how hectic the holidays can get, and so it's going to be delayed 1 week. It's going to come out on December 29th. So there's going to be a week there where there's a gap. I'll probably release something. Hey, we watched Krampus. We hope you all have happy holidays, and we hope you'll watch this.
There's some scurrying going on upstairs. Could it be squirrels? Oh, definitely squirrels.
Probably playing with their nuts.
Hey, I got a great line here. You had the squirrel idea. I'm going to take it to its logical conclusion. Probably playing with their nuts.
Thank you, fellow screenwriter.
Yes. More cocaine?
Don't mind if I do.
Asshole!